Let's go to Brazil, where Mercado Libre, which is a really big e-commerce company, uh, this was known last week, but they shared a bit more details on how this crypto buying and selling service was going to be operated, and it's very similar to how PayPal rolled out its crypto buying and selling service at the end of last year. They have tapped Paxos, which is a sort of a back-end custodian and trading provider, I guess you could say, to sort of operate behind the scenes for this new service that they're rolling out to something like 200 million Brazilian customers. So I think it's really interesting to see this. It kind of got me remembering the PayPal story and how big that was last year and how catalytic that was for a lot of the conversations around Bitcoin within the mainstream. So I wanted to sort of revisit that and kind of look at where we are here at the end of 2021 as another big giant that is in the traditional web space is adding crypto functionality for its customers in a similar tie-up with a key backend provider in the industry. So I'm going to toss this to Will. What are your thoughts on like you could imagine a world where like every e-commerce company could do this, right? And there are service providers out there who can make it happen and make it easy for their user bases. So I'm just curious as to your thoughts on this activation in Brazil for Mercado Libre.
Totally. I think these things, like, they start small and then they get really big. Like you're saying with the PayPal story, there was like inklings and little pieces here and there for other commerce companies, and then they get bigger, they hit the main stage. And this is a huge integration. I mean, I don't know much about the Brazilian e-commerce market. That's pretty niche industry. But if you look at the numbers alone, I think it's like 200 million or something like that. People have the ability to be involved with this. I need to fact check me there. But I think it also speaks to how some of these stablecoin providers can kind of play catch up by tapping into markets that other people aren't involved in. If you get involved with an e-commerce platform that's already dominating an industry, you have some sort of integration, you can jumpstart the stablecoin line and get more involved. Paxos is definitely like a smaller stablecoin compared to like USDC or Tether. And an integration like this allows them to be put back into the forefront of the conversation of who's going to win the private stablecoin battle out there. So I'd expect to see more of these things as they go along. There's a lot of e-commerce platforms around the globe that still have to be tapped. There's a lot of these countries that still haven't had a lot of crypto adoption as much as the US or Western Europe in terms of developers or in terms of conversation talk points. And I think like this is a really key way for the cryptocurrency kind of enter those markets. I am curious to hear Naomi's thoughts on this subject.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Brazil go in this direction where other countries are, just really clamping down on regulation that would make this stuff illegal. I know at the start of the month we had India say that, well, we're actually going to, well, it is the start of the month. I think there have been lots of pieces out recently about India kind of banning cryptocurrencies. They have this new law in effect. It's a regulation of official currency bill. It hasn't yet been voted in, but the idea is that it's going to make all private sector cryptocurrencies illegal for people in India to participate in. And so while some governments are like clamping down on the crypto space and creating laws like this so that they can make way for a central bank digital currency, Brazil hasn't gone that route yet. And so now we've got all these interesting partnerships. Like, it's nice to see what interesting things can arrive when governments don't stop this blossoming of innovation and this experimentation. So I really like that they're exploring this, and companies there are free to create these partnerships and try to make it easier for individuals to get access to this new era of digital assets. I think that's pretty cool. I wish more countries would follow suit and kind of let this stuff blossom and let consumers get access to the things that they clearly want access to, because the world of cryptocurrency is just such a booming industry. Clearly, this is something that consumers are interested in, but governments want to come in and protect us from our own decisions. So I'm glad Brazil hasn't gone that route. But Jen, I'm going to throw to you for your thoughts.
I was actually surprised at how much consumer demand there is in Brazil for Bitcoin. So I think at the end of last month, there was a report that 99Pay, which is a Brazilian ride-hailing service owned by Didi, the Chinese ride-hailing service, integrated Bitcoin trading on their platform, which I thought was interesting. And they cited their own research that they did internally that just said there's a lot of consumer demand for this. So we're gonna put the capability on the platform. I found some research this morning from the Brazilian Central Bank. They said in October that Brazilians have acquired 4.27 billion in cryptocurrencies so far in 2021. So I thought that was super interesting. I wasn't expecting to see that.
Not a number to be sneezed at for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big
Shout
number.
out
It's
to
interesting.
shout out to former CoinDesk reporter Aaron Stanley, who writes a nice Substack about Brazil and crypto. You should be sure to check it out. I think there's a lot more going on there than people know about. So that's a really great resource to kind of tap into. I'll throw it back to you, Zach.
No, I'm always game for a shout out to Aaron Stanley. Shout out to Aaron Stanley. Go subscribe to the Substack.
Shout out.
We'll find the link. Shout out. We'll find the link. We'll find the name. We'll make it happen.